Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Anna Vanila Arts. I am Anna Vanila and I would like today to create a tutorial for you about how to make this hat. This hat is fantastic. I absolutely love it. In this case it's rainbow colors, and as you can see it's quite stretchy, so even without blocking it will stretch by itself, no problem when you wear it. And as you can see, this stitch, this is a knit stitch. It's composed of hearts, so every piece it's like a little heart going inside the other heart and so on. It's like it's all kind of hearts and hearts, and it has got this kind of hearty vibe, and it's pleasant. It's probably quite warm in this hat as well with this pattern, because it creates a bit more chunkier look without actually using chunky needles. I am showing you now this item, this example of yarn, this pattern in this yarn. So you can see this is a crown and it's very well done. It's a circular crown, and I'll show you how to make everything in this hat, and you can just enjoy doing this hat in the end by watching this tutorial. As you can see, this is in blush. It's blush yarn. It's also acrylic yarn with some sort of metallic-y vibe to it, because it's got like little sparkles, and it's quite voluminous, it's quite chunky, it's quite stretchy, it's quite comfortable on a head. I've made it quite big, this hat, so that even when you do like buns and ponytails, it will cover, so it will not just go up the hat, but it will actually hold any kind of hairstyle you have, and it will keep you warm and stylish. And I love this heart design, little hearts one in the another. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love it. And this is the crown. As you can see, the crown of a head, it's fantastic. I'll show you. This is the simplest way to do a crown. It's very simple to do. This is a green version of the same hat. So as you can see, it's green. It's very rich green. It's stretchy as well. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. And the same kind of yarn. It's acrylic, so it will not going to give you any allergy if you were to use acrylic yarn in this tutorial, in this hat. And as you can see, it's quite nice, quite chunky, it's quite, yeah. I've got in blue now, the same hat but just in blue, and look what effect. It's absolutely stunning. I love it. And the back, this is the actual sewing of a hat, and you can't even tell where it is because it's done so well. So I'll show you how to do this stitch, and hopefully your hat will be also as fantastic as you can imagine from doing this tutorial. As you can see now, it's a white hat in the same style, in the same pattern. It's acrylic yarn as well. Everything is the same, just in different color, and see how it looks. This is the crown, very classic style. I thought about doing this hat, this tutorial, this heart stitch, knit stitch in black color, but I was afraid that it might not be very visible on camera or photographing, so I thought black would be a bit plain when it comes to showing you the example and how to knit it. And this is the now. This is the project I have now. I've got this much yarn left. As you can see, it's got sparkles, and it's also quite stretchy. It's acrylic yarn. It does not scratch or anything. It's fantastic yarn to work with. You don't have any allergy from this yarn. Any scratchiness, is no place for scratchiness in here, because it's acrylic yarn. It's easy to wash, it's easy to care for. It's fantastic yarn. I've never got disappointed with this kind of yarn, and I've made a lot of things with my hands, and as you can see, is all of it is fantastic. The colors are great. Everything about this pattern is fantastic. I'm in love with this pattern because I get so much pleasure in doing it, in knitting it, that I made more hats than I need. And so I was thinking maybe I can sell these hats. I'm not sure where I would like to sell them. Maybe on Etsy, maybe on eBay. I'll have a look. But I do like the process of knitting, so when I tend to like knit stitches or crochet stitches, I absolutely want to repeat the same thing over and over again with different yarns, different colors, different textures. I play around with colors, I play around with textures, and I absolutely, basically you can't stop me from doing things over and over again when I like something so much. And I'm thinking, shall I show you actually how to cast on? I cast on simple way. I have simple way of casting, so I'll show you a little bit here. So this is the needle, and I just do loops like so, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and basically this way we build up 84 stitches, 84 loops. You cast on 84 loops. This size of a hat is my size of a hat, so I've got 85 centimeters around my head. I use needles 5.5 in this case. I can use also up to 6 millimeters needles. I can also use 4.5 millimeter needle, and I do 2 rows after I cast on. I do 2 rows of front stitches on the front. So I do knit stitches on the front, and on the back, on a reverse, on the wrong side, I do also front stitches, knit stitches, and this way the edge is quite nice, like so. You see, as you can see, it doesn't bend, it's not misshapen, it's fantastic. Basically, it keeps it straight. It's nice to start it as a first level, and it looks like a good, nice way to begin a project like this. And then you just start to do this pattern. I'm going to show you how to do this pattern. And as you know, first loop we never ever knit, and the last loop we always knit it with a purl stitch. And I have knitted about 20 rows, 20 centimeters tall, and I'll show you next one. This stitch is very simple to make. In this case, I'm going to do, in this project I've begun here, I do about, let me see, 20 centimeters high. So I'm not doing extra high hat like this one. This one, for instance, is what? Without the crown, it's about 22 centimeters high. So this one I've made extra big for like hairstyle that you may have, for you to wear it inside this hat, no problem. But this one you can wear it with a loose hair, so when you leave it basically without being tied inside the hat, you just make a smaller, a bit less height to the hat, and then you start doing the crown, the closing of a hat, the rounding of a hat. This knit stitch, I've made a tutorial on this knit stitch. It's a faux hearts knit stitch, you can have a look, but I will show you in this video this knit stitch also, so you know how it's done. It's 2 rows. This knit stitch has 2 rows. I call it faux hearts stitch, and needles are 5.5. I've got 84 loops on my needle. It's acrylic yarn with a bit of speckles, with a little bit of like wire, very soft and beautiful sparkle, which adds to the hat a little bit more dimension. So the first loop we do not knit, the last loop we always knit it with a purl. So we begin. I take this needle, the front needle, I do not knit the first loop, as I said. First thing I knit is next one, a purl stitch. We all know what's a purl stitch. If you can knit a purl stitch and a front stitch knit stitch, it means you could do this knit stitch no problem. So and beginners are welcome to do this tutorial. So purl stitch, and then we see 2 front stitches, so 2 knit stitches, and we take with the first right needle and penetrate through the 2 loops. So we go inside of these 2 loops, we grab the yarn from behind, we release add more yarn, stretch a bit, hold it with a finger, then we do yarn over again, help it with the finger, and then we knit again this, we penetrate again through these 2 loops. We grab the yarn from behind, so we've got 3 loops on the needle, and then these 2 loops, the first 2 loops we've started to knit, we knit only the first loop. So this is the first loop which was on the needle. So we just grab the yarn whilst we hold the other loops, grab the yarn, and only then we release these 2 old loops. So this part is what we do and repeat on the front of your hat, front part of your hat. So purl stitch, so 2 loops, we go inside the 2 loops, grab the yarn from behind and manage the yarn with a finger or how you feel comfortable. You hold it with a finger here, then so we have 1 loop, we do yarn over, then again we go through inside of these 2 loops, we grab the yarn, so we have 3 loops already, and then we knit the first loop that we had here on the needle. So we grab and make a loop, so we have in total 4 stitches, 4 loops, and these 4 loops, so from 2 loops we make 4 loops, and then on the back I'm going to show you how we should change and how it's worked on the back, because we create extra loops which on the back we will create like a transition to making less loops on the needle. So purl stitch is next, we hold it like this, we grab the 2 loops, through the 2 loops we grab the yarn from behind, and then we do yarn over, then we again knit the same 2 loops. So I've got 3 pieces, 3 loops on the right needle, and then we knit the first loop from the left needle, and only then we release. So out of 2 loops we create 4 loops. So purl stitch, and then we just do the same thing over and over again, and then you get used to so much doing this stitch that it comes natural to you, and you will do this stitch very fast without any mistake and without any problem. It's just you need to be a bit careful to create 4 loops rather than 3 or 2 loops. To be correct, you need to knit 4 loops, you need to make 4 loops, and then on the back we do a trick which is very interesting in this stitch pattern, because it's very clever pattern, clever design of knitting. Purl stitch between every 2 loops that we knit and create 4 loops out of the 2, and so on. So we knit until the end of this row the same way, and the last loop we always knit it with a purl stitch. So I'll do this off camera and I'll show you the second row. This was the first row and I'm going to show you the second row how to do it. At the end we make 4 loops again. Then the end we make sure is a purl stitch after the 2 loops that we created, the 4 loops out of 2 loops. Then we do a purl stitch and then the last loop is also always a purl stitch. We'll reverse the work and this is how we minimize the amount of stitches we've got. So the first loop we do not need, and we need basically what we see. So we see a front stitch, so it's a knit stitch, first one. Then we need 1 purl stitch, and out of the other 3 purl stitches we need them together like so. So we penetrate all 3 loops, we grab the yarn like this and we create from 3 purls we create 1 purl. So front stitch, knit stitch, 1 purl stitch, 3 together as 1 purl stitch, knit stitch, purl stitch, all 3 1 purl stitch equals 1 purl stitch. And this is how we do until the end of this row. Hopefully you get used to the way this stitch is working, the way it's done. As you can see, all 4 loops from the back become 3 loops on the back, and that's how we end up getting that pattern on the front, which is so nice. It's because we do special tricks on the back as well. So we knit all 3 loops into a purl stitch, 1 purl stitch and 3 purl stitches, 1 front stitch, 1 purl stitch, 3 purls is 1 purl stitch, and we knit like this until the end. And last loop we always knit it with a purl stitch. And this is how we knit the second row. So we combine first row with the second row, and you do the height of the head that you need, you do the size of a head that you need. If you have smaller head than mine, than 85 centimeters for instance, you can cast on less loops to make a smaller size hat, and this way we can achieve this stunning pattern design, which not everyone will have. It is a very rare pattern, rare design, and this is from my collection of patterns of stitches. So you will have something totally unique if you were to do this hat yourself. So I do about 21 in this case. So what I do, I count how many hearts. So I see this, see the bumps. So I count the bumps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 21 times we repeat this stitch. So I think it's enough to make the crown now. So it's 20 centimeters in here. So what we do next, we do the crown. It's very easy to do. It's probably the easiest way you can ever do a hat, a crown of a hat, the top of a hat, and even a beginner could do it. So stay tuned. So you take the first loop, you do not need the first loop, and we take 2 loops together. So we penetrate the 2 loops, so we go inside the 2 loops and we knit it as 1 loop. So that's how we make the amount of loops less on the needle. So 2 together as a front stitch, 2 together as a front stitch, and this is how we knit until the end of this row. We minimize the amount of stitches we've got on this hat. So 2 together all until the end. Like so. This is the easiest technique to close the hat. And the second row, we do not decrease. We just knit as they look at us. So we knit the whole stitches without any decrease. We knit them with a purl stitch, everything with a purl stitch in the second row of decreasing of the crown. Like so. So 2 together, 2 together, 2 together, and the last one we knit it with a purl stitch. Turn the work, and the second row here we see it being all purl stitches. So what we need to do is to not knit the first loop. We knit purl stitch, everything purl stitches. Everything is purl stitches until the end, and then I'm going to show you next how to decrease this hat. I finished that wrong side row. Now we do not need the first loop. We are on the front side again, and we knit again 2 loops together. So we go inside the 2 loops and grab the yarn like so, then we release it. So 2 together, 2 together, 2 together, and as you can see, it creates, when you do 2 together, it creates knit stitch. So it creates a front stitch, and it's a nice way to round the hat without the complicated ways, other ways of doing it. So 2 together, 2 together, 2 together. As you can see, it's front stitches here, front stitches. So 2 together. Then we need 1 front stitch and 1 purl stitch. Now this is the 4th row, so it's a second on the back. So we do not need the first loop, we need it with a purl stitch, everything with a purl stitch. So we need everything with a purl stitch until the end of this row. Like so. Turn the work, and what we need to do is to see if you have more than 10 stitches left on your needle, then you do the decreasing yet again twice. So every 2 loops together you do it again, every 2 loops together. If it's under 10 stitches, then you just start closing the hat. So at the moment I have more than 10 stitches here left, so I will do another decreasing. So the first loop we do not need, and 2 we need together again. I'll do this quickly for you. So 2 together, 2, 2, 2. Oh, sorry. 2 together, 2 together, 2 together, 1 front stitch and 1 knit stitch, purl stitch, sorry, because it's the last loop. So, and on the back we knit with purl stitches everything. Then we measure the yarn, we cut the yarn, and then we pass through each 2 loops which is on the needle, and then we create like a circle and we finish the crown that way. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so it's the right amount to close it now. So we take the yarn, we measure with the height of the hat, 2, 3 times we take the height of the hat, and then we cut it. If you take 3 times, then it's easy and fast way to close the hat. So let's put this stitch here. So now we start by taking 2 loops from the needle, and then we grab the yarn and we pull it to the end like so. And as you can see, these 2 loops are left on the yarn, and this is how it's supposed to go, supposed to be. So 2 loops again. Now we pass the yarn like this. Then again 2 loops. Again we grab the yarn end, and again 2 loops, 2 loops here, 2 loops. We've got 3 loops left, but what I do 2 loops, and then the last one I do it on its own. So I just grab the last loop and pass the needle, so the needles, we don't need the needles anymore. We take this yarn and we put through a special needle, which is plastic in this case, and it creates, and you pull it like this. And this kind of needle is very good for knitting, so it's good needle. It's made especially for knitting clothes. So it can be metallic as well. So the one you have is all the best we need for it. So we do, you see, if you pull this like so, it's like a circle, it's like a little moon. So what we need to do is reverse the hat, grab the yarn and pull it tightly, and then we grab 1 stitch from the crown of the hat and we make a knot to secure it with a knot. 1, I usually do 2 knots to make sure it does not unravel, so it holds well the hat. And this is a second knot, reverse to the front. We've got this nice crown of a hat, as you can see. It's nice here. Now we take this needle and we see the loops, the edges of the side of a hat, and we need to stitch these edges. So we grab two braids here. It's like 2 braids, and we create mattress stitch. So 1, 2, and we hold it and create it in the middle of the 2 loops. As you can see, you go 1 loop and then a second loop, and in between there is like a knot or something like that, and the needle needs to go parallel to it, and then you stretch it suddenly. So 2, 2, like this. Then we grab again 2 braids from both sides like this. And then we stretch slightly so it's not too tight, as you can see. Yeah, I'm going to do this off camera and I'll show you how to hide the ends. So I usually use this kind of pegs for sewing. What I do is grab 2 sides off the edge of the 2 sides of a hat and put this peg, and this would make sure both sides are equal, and we can just close it uniformly, so it's like for it to be even the end of this hat. So as you can see, now we can release it and we can just grab both sides with the yarn. Yeah, we make a knot slowly, we stretch slightly. Now we do, so what I do, I take two sides and I stitch them like so, and then I make a knot. So I do like this again, and I go through this stitch like this to hide the ends, the tails. I make a knot so it does not undo itself with washing and wear. So I make a knot and then I just hide the yarn through the braid that we see here, and then I go down this way to secure it so it does not unravel. It doesn't just open up at any time. So to secure it better, so we have this yarn. I've closed it, I've hidden, and now it's another yarn, which another tail, which we have because we started, when we started this hat, we had this tail. We had to start the beginning of a hat, so now we go through this braid here again. I'll make a knot here carefully so it's a strong knot without popping out a bit on the front, so it needs to be put nicely. So I do put this through the braids like so, and then I go back a little bit to make sure it does not just unravel like this. Like so. I cut the end, and this is our finish touch. As you can see, this is the stitch. Mattress stitch does seamless stitching. As you can see, you can't even tell where the hat ends, but when you wear it, you obviously make sure this is always at the back. So this stitch always goes on the back when you wear it. And this is the front of a hat. This is the nice, as you can see, circle. There's a nice crown here. It's fantastic. I will have to be ready to do pictures with these hats and implement in these videos where I put this stuff for you to see how it looks like. And this is what you get if you follow this pattern, this stitch, knit stitch. It's easy, it's quick, it's pleasurable. The process of doing this hat, it's always pleasurable to me. It's fantastic, it's absolutely adorable. I love it. And the edge is very carefully done, very well done. As I said, you do front stitches on the front and on the back, and you get this result, this very nice edging, and only then you start off with the pattern, with a stitch, and that's how it goes. So this is nice looking hat, and hopefully it's useful for you, and you can do a hat like this for yourself and for your family members maybe. You're welcome to make and sell things, and you can tag me as well, and you can just play around with this stitch, which is fantastic, or make this hat in this stitch. You can just do whatever you like, whatever you prefer. Thank you so much for watching me and subscribing, for liking my videos, to make my videos more available, tutorials more available to other people. It would just be great. So thank you so much for stopping by and doing this hat with me. I'm Anna Vanila, and I wish you luck in your projects, and see you soon in my next videos. Bye!